Welcome to the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast. You are now part of a small underground movement of dent technicians from all over the world. We are on a mission to change our industry with innovation, intelligence, and skill. But because we don't rely on an insurance company to steer customers our way, we need to do things different. We need to do things smarter. We do that through a network of technicians that we call the Tactical Tech Movement. Now let's get this revolution started.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? John Hiley and Angela Hiley with the Tactical Dent Tech Podcast, a.k.a. the Savage Couple Podcast. Yeah. We actually been thinking about doing that, breaking it up a little bit and having a couples podcast where we talk about couple shit.
Why not, right? John and I will be together for 20 years in November. So I think we got a lot of experience to, dish out some advice here and there.
Hell yeah, man. Shit, I've been with her for that long. I got some good advice I can give to you men.
Oh, really?
Shit, I think I was, I was talking about that one thing about how to be like a ninja husband.
Wait, hold on. Listen, we were talking to Jonathan and this and that, and he was trying to tell Jonathan that he got all his bad genes from me.
Except for his love handles. That's one thing I've never been able to shake, man. I don't give a fuck. When I used to be, I was at one point when I was younger, like I was pretty fucking ripping. You know what I mean? And I still had these fucking chubby love handle things in the back of my fucking back right here. I think I'm gonna have to do that shit where you get it frozen off.
Do some cool scalping.
Yeah. What's going on, Ryan Shutt? How you doing, man?
No, but John was just like, yeah, you got all your bad genes from your mom. And I'm like, that is so not nice to say. I'm like, you got a lot of good genes
technically, I said
from
your
your
mom's side of the family.
No, you said me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah.
That's not nice.
With that being said, guys,
that is a big no-no. You don't do that.
We just went live in the Marketing Savage group for the Savage fucking Sunday. If any of you guys have not became a member yet of the Marketing Savage group, I'm blowing that motherfucker up.
Yes,
and there's a lot of things happening there. And I just want to say, man, there's a lot of fucking great people in there. I mean, multimillionaires in there, from multimillionaires to PDR techs to fitness folks that are in the fitness industry, to multiple podcast hosts, several different authors. Probably more authors than I know, but we just featured Thomas Keenan, who wrote a book called Unfuck Your Business, and he's going to be my first interview on Thursday at noon. And then for anybody who is interested, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a fucking really good webinar. You're going to want to see this one, a marketing webinar on Dent Trainer's Facebook page. And but no worries, if you can't catch it, I'm going to be doing it at noon Eastern Standard Time. If y'all can't catch it, I'll be sharing the shit out of it here within a day or two. So, but that being said, guys, last week's podcast was kind of funny. We did the conspiracy theory edition.
Yeah.
And it looks like I have, oh shit, Adam Jones has ripped love handles too. You see me moving my head because I'm having a hard time seeing the comments from where I'm sitting. Let me move my screen over a little bit. But, man, did you guys see what I just posted on my timeline probably about 2 hours ago about the CDC? So number one, earlier in the year, if you notice something, man, people are getting less aggressive about trying to defend this coronavirus shit.
The coronavirus
shit. People are getting less aggressive. I mean, don't you guys remember it was probably a couple months ago, or even when this shit first started, when you posted something about it, you had them motherfuckers jumping on there, fighting and scratching and clawing because they were defending a fucking virus. And now you post shit, you're starting to hear fucking crickets, guys. And, that pretty much means their fucking gig is up. And I actually seen something the other day. It was pretty interesting to me. Like, I'm sitting there looking at this. I was reading some sort of post, and it was two guys arguing, and obviously one of them was a Trump fan, the other one was a Biden fan. And in that post, the guy who was the Biden fan, he basically said, oh, I hope Corona just fucking kills you guys in November or whatever when it comes back for the second wave. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, man, these motherfuckers like want this shit to happen. Like, they are so mad trying to get this fucking man out of office, that they want this virus to fucking destroy our economy. They want this virus to stop us from being able to go in and vote. Like, there is so much animosity right now in this country that people are literally willing to fuck up the entire country just because they don't want a certain person in office. And, you guys know what my stance, man. I go back and forth on Donald Trump because I watched all that conspiracy theory shit. And although I don't believe all of it's true, there's some truth in it, and some of it. And, that being said, I go back and forth. I'm like, is this motherfucker part of it? That's one of the things when you start watching a bunch of different shit, you start questioning everybody, right?
Yeah, and then you just don't know what to...
The truth of the matter is, if I really sit back and look concrete, what has happened so far? If you look back at what has happened, the concrete facts that are in front of us today, the dude said he was going to fucking lower my taxes. My fucking taxes were lower. Okay? He said he was going to build a wall. He fucking went out and built a wall. Yeah. Like, everything he's saying that he was going to do is happening.
Yeah.
And just lowering my taxes enough is to fucking get me to vote for him, because it seems like up until now, everybody else caught the fucking breaks and I was getting fucked every time. So it's like everybody else gets these breaks and I'm constantly getting fucked over. Of course I'm going to want to re-elect the guy who gave me fucking tax breaks.
Ching!
Finally giving back the fucking money to people to contribute. And to be honest with you, if you actually look at it, most people don't even fucking pay taxes. Like most people, and I'll just be honest with you, man. Like,
we never paid taxes for like the longest time
when we were younger,
out.
because and the crazy thing is though, I was talking to a guy from Canada, and I let him know that in America, if you're only making like 20 grand a year, something like that, 30 grand a year, you ain't paying fucking taxes, especially if you got a kid.
Yeah.
And I told my buddy Gary Tanton, came down from Canada, and he'd already made millions up in Canada. He was in the fucking oil field and he sold out, and he actually got into dent removal as a fucking just a side gig so he could keep his retirement. He was smart. He's like, man, well, I'm still young. I'm going to work, but I'm going to keep all my money that I sold this company in retirement, and I'm just going to fucking live off of this dent removal shit until I go to retire. Yeah. He was smart about it, right? I actually told him one day that American citizens could basically claim $30,000, $40,000 a year, use a couple tax write-offs, and then end up like not paying no taxes, and to top it off, get $2,000 or $3,000 back. He was fucking floored. He's like, how does that work? Like, it doesn't happen in other countries like that, guys. Like, you don't fucking get money back if you don't pay, especially more than you pay in.
Yeah.
Income tax is bullshit anyway, but man, isn't that a way just to take from the top fucking producers and the top income earners have been fucking stripped year after year after year after year? And hell yeah, I'm going to fucking vote for somebody that's saving me in taxes.
And then you got Donald Trump coming in on his white horse. His blonde hair just blowing back in the wind.
I still wrote the motherfuckers the biggest check I've ever wrote to the government last year, I don't think that's going to change this year either. But what I'm saying is, it would have been way fucking more if he wouldn't have stepped in and helped and actually lowered the taxes. So I kind of look at that like, when's the last time you ever fucking heard a president actually get in there and do what he actually said he was going to do? So that's what I'm basing my opinion on. I could be totally wrong. I'm not going to try to convince anybody else otherwise. But you make up your own opinion. You can make your own decision. But the bottom line is, one of the things that we actually got to get over in this nation, and probably one of the things, in fact, no, I know that it's one of the things that are going to drive us to the brink of something, is that just the division in this country, because it doesn't matter anything, any topic, anything that comes up, everybody's going to pick their fucking side. I started listening to a book. I'm going to tell you guys about this book.
Oh, you're going to start talking about couple stuff.
Hold on, let me tell them about this book real quick.
No, that's fine.
So I started listening to this book. It's called The Fourth Turning, okay? I don't know if any of you guys can see that in there. It's a book, it looks like this. It's called The Fourth Turning. And essentially, it's predicting all of the shit that's happening right now. And it's not a conspiracy theory book, actually. Like many of you guys probably think, oh, John's probably just, reading or listening to another conspiracy theory book. This is actually a study in history that goes back into exactly the entire generational churn. And essentially, so far, what I've listened to so far, it pretty much states that this generation is the churn where we have the mass of division that creates the catastrophic event. And I mean, this happened during World War II. It happened during the Depression, the Great Depression. It happened during the Revolutionary War. And the book just goes into detail about how our generations are brought in and which generations are in a specific stage of rather it's leadership, or if they're in the next level stage, if they're elderly, or if they're children, or if they're what they call the hero generation, which are the kids that are around 20 years old, like my son. And then it just goes into the whole generational churn and how throughout history this exact same generational churn has been happening over and over and over again. It actually goes in phenomenal detail about that. So what's going on, Danny? What's going on, James?
And I'm over this shit. I'm over it all. I'm over it all. I can't
especially
take any more of it. I can't take any more of it. I'm just over all this shit.
And actually, I was going to say that, especially since the CDC had just recently came out. Well, number one, I shared something from the CDC. This is where I was actually going when I first brought this up, when people were violently attacking anybody who shared an anti-mask post, and I was leading the fucking front on that, of course. And, there was an article, the CDC actually said that they can confuse a regular coronavirus, which is a common cold. If you guys don't know that, your common cold is a coronavirus, with COVID-19. So when they were taking these tests could easily be skewed with a cold. I was sitting there thinking, like, what a perfect fucking plan for a virus, if they really wanted to fucking skew the numbers, is to, do it in a coronavirus, because the tests aren't going to be able to determine whether it's COVID-19 or if they have coronaviruses, which are the common cold.
Yeah.
So that makes you think, like, how many of the tests are actually accurate, okay? So we got that as, like, the first issue.
And then you have false positives.
You got false positives,
which happened here in Ohio when
a shitload of them.
When Mike DeWeeny was supposed to visit and talk with Trump.
Yep.
The first one he took,
he got a false positive.
Then he took another one and it was negative.
Okay, so we got motherfuckers running around with the common cold, and people are acting like it's the fucking the plague. Okay. And then I just shared a link just recently, so this had come out, and I wanted to fact check it. So I seen some memes yesterday and shit, and I never really got around to fact checking it. But essentially, it says that 94% of the COVID-19 cases, the people who died, so 94% of our death count did not die of COVID-19. They died of other underlying health conditions, and it was just contributed to COVID-19 death. And I mean, maybe they had a cold whenever they died. I'm sure that's probably common. And I'm sure that's one of the things that, as the tipping scale at a nursing home, there's that perspective. And the second perspective is the government was giving the hospitals and the nursing homes massive fucking amounts of money for COVID-19 deaths. So it's like, what are we going to bag them and tag them as, man? It was the perfect setup for this situation. And now the CDC is coming out and saying 94%. So that means only, like, if you took whatever our COVID death count is, I think people were trying to say it was like in the 100,000 range or something like that.
I don't know.
Take that bitch down to 6,000 and then go compare that to the common flu. It just pisses me off. Like, I've been standing up telling people this since the beginning, pretty much. I've been telling people this is the biggest fucking scam that has ever been pulled over, the biggest scam, the veil that has ever been pulled over the American people's eyes, or let's say the biggest fucking mask that's ever been shoved down our throat and pulled over our faces. And we literally had to just sit here and fucking watch it happen.
Well, think about all the other stuff that it actually ended up causing. Think how many people now, like I've said this before, think how many people now have to deal with anxiety disorder. Think about how many people now have to deal with, like, depression. And think about now when they go to the doctor, now they got to start taking medication for it. And when you take antidepressants, like, it's not like you just take one and it just automatically works. A lot of times you have to go through different medications to figure out which one works, because you're going to end up having, like, horrible side effects. I mean, that's what happened to me when I first got diagnosed with anxiety, my anxiety disorder, and then I also suffer from depression as well. My doctor put me on Zoloft, and I was sick. I took one pill. Next day, woke up, I was sick for like a week and a half until I got fully out of my system. And that's when my doctor was like, I was like, listen, I do not want to take a lot of drugs. Fully understood me, and then we worked something out to where I am on like the least amount of medicine for what I got to deal with.
Yeah. And it's just fucking crazy. The amount of suicides,
Exactly.
the amount of ruined businesses
Yes.
that have been crashed in our country. Be honest with you guys, it's domestic terrorism. I mean, this is the biggest fucking literally terrorist attack that we've ever faced in our nation's history. And that includes 9/11. Because the shit that we're dealing with right now is literally our own fucking people from our own country. It's domestic terrorism. The media has been literally proven, it's basically proven that their narrative is fake, and to top it off, and like, I don't even give a fuck, man. You look like Fox News, I believe, appeases the right, and I believe they're just a little bit closer to the truth. But they still, like, I listen to that shit, and I'm still, like, pissed off at some of the shit they're saying.
They need to be talking about.
Still pissed off at some of the shit they're saying. And then you look at the fucking news on the left, it can't even be considered news, man. Anytime there's money involved, like, it's going to get fucked up, right? Because, who the fuck was even paying attention to the news before COVID-19? Who was paying attention to the news before these riots and before all of this election shit? You know what I mean? Like, if any of you are a lot like me, like, I didn't give a fuck about the news, never even watched it. And all of a sudden now we're watching this shit show, it's like a fucking train wreck. It's fucking happening. It's going full speed in front of you. You're getting ready to see a fucking train wreck and you can't look away. But the truth is, you're feeling the machine because now their ratings go up. Their fucking ratings go up. Advertisement cost goes up. So their advertisers are paying them more. Their jobs are, fucking news anchors are just like anybody else, man. They care about their jobs. They want to keep their jobs. And how do you keep your fucking job is by making the station a bunch of fucking money. So our news organizations have become pretty much domestic terrorism fucking organizations. It's fucking crazy. Like, it's crazy. There's no dignity in the news anymore, y'all. So
I like the way you said that at the end.
It's so funny. Everybody who listens to the Tactical Dent Tech podcast, they probably jump on here, you know what I mean? And they're like, I guarantee you I've ran off every motherfucker that is like even in the middle or, definitely anybody who's on the left side of the fence, man. Yeah, I've ran all of you off, man. That's 100% for sure. But the good news is a lot more people are coming in, man. So we're just seeing spikes in our number because I think, to be honest with you, it's a dent technician podcast, and most dent guys out there are a lot like me. That's the truth.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I never.
I don't know. I think some of them are dirtier than you.
Well, look, you know what I'm saying, but you know what I mean. Like, politically, their thoughts are either that or they're way further out than I am. And because of that,
I know what some of them dent guys be out there doing, and you don't be doing that.
See, and look. Here's what I never understood, though. I never understood, man, is like, I don't know. You guys know that I've been podcasting for a while, been on a lot of podcasts, been on a lot of shows, been on, done a lot of fucking video work with a lot of different people and shit like that. And, like, I know these motherfuckers that I'm working with, right? And I get it, man. This is across the board. This ain't just I'm not calling out people specifically in the dent removal industry, but I'm calling out people in general, okay? There's a lot of people I know that I would work with one-on-one and we would talk, and dude, they'd be fucking awesome to talk to. You know what I mean? I'd listen to them fucking talk, and they'd tell their stories, they tell their true feelings, and then all of a sudden we get on fucking camera and they turn into a different person.
That happens to a lot of people.
It does. It happens to a lot of people.
That's happened to me.
But it happens to a lot of people. Is it worth it, really?
You get over it after you
Right.
do a few of
But
them.
no. There's
start
people
getting-
that stay like that. They're so worried about offending people.
Oh.
They're so worried about
Man,
offending
just gotta get
people.
over it.
They're so worried about that shit. And I'm not talking about being camera shy. I'm just talking about like literally fucking watching what you say just so you can
You know what? Let me tell you a story.
ride the middle lane, man.
So there was this. I'm
There's nothing good in that
not going to
fucking
say
middle
who
lane.
this person was, but it was at one of the mega media events or
Yeah.
whatever, and it was in the evening. It was when everything was done and everybody was just kind of like hanging out, like And there was this one guy, and he came up and started talking to me, and I'm like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And he's like, his face started getting kind of red, and I was like, "Do you have fucking glitter all over your face?" I'm like, "Where the fuck were you?" I was like, "Were you at a?" I was like,
Oh, imagine that, a dent
Yeah.
guy at a strip club,
I
huh?
was like, "Were you at a strip club?" I'm not kidding you. This dude, this grown ass man's face got so red. He did not know what to say. Probably because I looked at him like he was disgusting, and he just took off.
Well, yeah.
I'm like, "You are a dirty man." I'm like, "You're married and you got kids." I'm like, "You are a fucking
Danny,
dirty
that
man."
wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you, Danny. No.
But, like going back to the whole camera thing, you know what I mean? Like so many people put on this facade, right? And so I'll give you an example of who got fucked by doing that as recently as Ellen DeGenerate. Because if you look at Ellen DeGenerate, I mean, if you were to watch her show, you would think she was the fucking nicest person ever. You know what I mean? Regardless whether you like her, whether you don't, if you were to watch her show, you would think, hey, man, if you worked at Ellen's fucking, you worked on Ellen's set, it probably wouldn't be too bad. Ellen, hey, man, hey, guys. No. As soon as that camera went off, Ellen was a bitch. Like literally, like soon as that camera went off, like the real Ellen came out. And she was walking around a bitch to everybody. Nobody could stand her. People didn't like her. And another guy I actually heard that's like that is Bill O'Reilly. like from my understanding. And there's a lot of fucking politicians. I heard that about John Kasich, who was a Republican politician. Like I knew a dude who was head of the Republican Party here. Yeah, well, I knew a dude who was the head of the Republican Party here in Centerville that said John Kasich is the biggest fucking douchebag he's ever met in his entire life. And
let me get a hold of it.
But see, that's the thing. Eventually, your shit is gonna get fucking called, all right?
Yeah.
There ain't nothing you guys can ever fucking call me on, man. I'll give you that right now because what you see right here, me fucking to you right now, face to face, the way I'm talking to you right here, you're gonna get the same motherfucker whether you like me or not if you see me in person.
Yeah.
You mean tell you the honest truth about this shit is once you finally let go of that bullshit, once you let go of hiding who you are from the public eye or whatever it is, it's fucking easy. It's easy. It's hard acting like somebody else, man. Like acting like somebody else is fucking painful.
It is.
And I know because I've been there, guys. When I first started doing fucking podcasts and shit like that, I've had to kind of be like that around certain people that I used to that I'd podcast with and shit like that because they never really wanted me to overstep boundaries and all this shit. And I understand that because I guess me being me they felt this was going to wreck their reputation too. And, but dude, it's the exact opposite. People want the real fucking you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's easy to be the real you
Yes,
because
it
all
is.
you got to do is step up to this motherfucker and just pour your heart out. And I'd rather speak from my heart than question every fucking word that I'm about ready to say. I mean, think about how much labor that takes, guys. You guys, we've all been in situations where you had to question what you were going to say and shit like that. Maybe it was with like a father-in-law or maybe it was with, somebody who quite frankly, had to stick up their fucking ass and you had to watch what you said around them.
Yeah.
It takes so much fucking labor. You got to sit there and contemplate in your head all the time. Like, what am I going to say? Oh, well, maybe we shouldn't say that. Maybe I should only say this. Maybe I should only, blah, 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 blah. It's so much fucking easier just doing your fucking thing and being yourself,
Exactly.
Yeah, apparently, Danny, everybody, it looks like nobody likes John Kasich on here. From my understanding, man, I heard like what this dude told me about John Kasich is that John Kasich would literally walk into a room and speak of himself in third fucking person. Like he would walk in the room and be like, hey, he'd be like, nobody say John Kasich's name while John Kasich's here. Like seriously, man. This dude said that He sat on the board of Goldman Sachs, which, you know, of course, made him a fucking big shot. I'll never get that shit either. I don't give a fuck how.
He just had too big of an ego. That,
Yeah.
Gotta keep that ego in check.
I don't give a fuck how, whatever I do in my lifetime, whatever happens, I'm never going to feel like a fucking big shot, because that's basically making yourself feel like a fucking douchebag.
Yes.
I hate that shit.
Who wants to be around a douchebag?
You know, the guys that I know that would be, so to speak, big shots, they actually don't like people that run around and treat them like big shots because they don't want to feel like a fucking douchebag. You know, so you know the guys that I know that are you know, doing some big things, and that I'm surrounded by in some of my different arenas in my mastermind groups, coaching groups, stuff like that. Like, literally, they just want to be treated fucking normal. They just don't want you to say a bunch of stupid shit. Treat them like a person. You know what I mean? Not like somebody that's fucking, you know, walking around with a fucking velvet fucking whatever spoon up their ass.
A velvet spoon up their ass.
A velvet fucking spoon up their ass.
That is a new one.
That's right. Hey.
I got the best excuse me. I had a little coffee there. Don't worry, I don't have corona.
Social distancing.
I got the best comment yesterday.
I need to go get my goggles.
No, you don't. We were up at Easton walking around, and this gal looked at me, and she's like, what did she say? She's like, wait a minute, your tattoos are hard as fuck. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, she walked up, she's like, hey, she's like, your tattoos are hard as fuck.
Yeah.
We walked away, and I said, did she just say that your tattoos were hard as fuck?
It's like, that's what,
I told her, I was like, shit. I was like, you wouldn't do too bad in prison.
No, I'm not going to prison.
Because your ass is hard as fuck.
No. No, I'm not going there. I'm a good girl. No.
I've only been in the county jail.
Numerous times.
Numerous times.
Numerous times.
You know what, though? The worst jail that I have ever been in.
We're supposed to be talking about, oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Siri found the worst jail to be in on the web. So she's always fucking listening, man. No. Honestly, the worst jail that I have ever been in was a juvenile fucking jail. Oh my God. Do them motherfuckers put you through shit? They literally bring you in like drill sergeants and shit, yelling at you. Strip your ass naked.
No, they would not say that to you, would they?
I think so.
That's a long time ago.
They actually strap you to a chair for like fucking 5 hours. And before they put you in your cell, and then they put you in, it's like isolation and shit like that. I was in that motherfucker. I was only in there for a couple days.
You know, I think that's why Jonathan turned out to be such a good kid, was because John shared his stories. You know, John shared his stories of like what he did when he was young and how it got him into trouble and where he ended up. And that probably put some fear into Jonathan. Jonathan's like, I do not want to go there.
I told John, man, I'm like, you don't want to go to fucking jail, man.
No.
You know, that shit is, like I said, I spent a couple times in the county jail.
Don't you have to, like, get naked and bend over and cough or something?
Yeah, fuck. I can't remember. I think every time I was thrown in jail, I was drunk.
And that's why John does not drink the devil's juice anymore.
Frank the Tank is done. Been done for a minute. You guys got a little taste of it, though. Some of you dent guys out there at the Mobile Tech Expo.
I probably didn't know what the hell to think.
Getting into knife fights, running dent. I'm sorry, the drunk Dent Olympic contest. Yeah. Almost getting 300 people arrested. Me and Trey Scott, like, seriously considering taking the hotel guy who was negotiating with us to stand down, pretty much. Just taking him hostage with us that night. Me and Trey literally looked at each other, and we had this like little moment of communication where we're like, you know, this motherfucker's kind of getting out of line over here, talking about telling us to quit the Drunk Olympics.
No,
be like, we could shut him up real quick and just throw him in the fucking trunk. No, I'm kind of glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm glad that didn't happen either.
Hey, that was the night that the one guy's wife disappeared.
Oh no.
You remember that?
I do,
The
but I don't.
night that the
I
guy's
don't
wife
remember their
disappeared?
names. I don't remember.
I can't remember their name either. That was the. Well, let's just say the dent community hasn't got over that because we're talking about it right now still, too.
Oh, my goodness. They were married, right?
Yeah. She was safely tucked away in another dent guy's bed that saved her that night.
You don't do that when you're married, okay?
It might have been. It might have been honest. It might have been. It might have been an honest mistake.
Do you think you and I are married, and let's say we were somewhat got like separated or something like that.
Yeah.
You really think I'm going to go into some other person's hotel room and stay the night there?
Unless it's a
No.
buddy of mine. Nobody would let you.
No,
Nobody would let that happen to you anyway.
Well, they would take me back to where I needed to go. They wouldn't
That's
be
true.
like, you need to stay the night here,
That's true.
and you can sleep in my bed.
Man, I'm hoping the
No.
next. I'm honestly hoping that the next Mobile Tech Expo is good, y'all.
Me too. I want to see everybody.
I think they're having it a little bit towards isn't
Beginning
it
of
February this year?
February.
The beginning of February. They probably
wanna
did that
see
on
everybody.
purpose. I would imagine to get.
I want to hug
over
my people,
the-
damn it. I
We
want to
want to hug you,
I want
motherfuckers.
to hug my people. I really do. I want to hug my people so hard.
You know, it was kind of interesting at the Mobile Tech Expo last year. You know, because like I said, the 2 previous years, people were used to me being kind of wasted, and like I would just run up and like bear hug people, and pick them up in the air and run
They didn't
around
know
with
what to
them and
think.
shit,
They
and
were
throw them on
like-
my shoulder, and all this type of stuff. But I think like this last year, because I wasn't drinking at all, and I mean everybody else was drinking, I'd kind of like walk up to somebody and say hello, and they'd be like, and they'd be like, "Oh, hey, man, are we okay?
What are you going to do to me now?
Because like nobody really knew like that I wasn't drinking that year. Still to this day, I'm like sitting here like talking to people, and they're like, "Oh, you weren't drinking last year?" I'm like, "You drunk ass motherfuckers! You didn't notice that I wasn't drinking that this last event? Did I pick you up and carry you on my shoulder? Did I throw you over my lap and spank your ass? Did I jump on the table? Did
I like it when you do all that stuff to me, though.
Yeah.
I get kind of jealous if he does it to like another guy or something. I'm like, no, you're supposed to be like keeping all that stuff for me, not be like doing that to someone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, hey, that's right, Danny. We are brothers from another mother, bro. Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to this next year's Mobile Tech Expo. And just a heads up, y'all, if anybody wants to jump in on it, we are getting like an accountability group going on in the Marketing Savage group. I'm going to be starting 75 hard on Tuesday. And I'll be honest with you, I failed the first one. I only did it for like 45 days.
That's because John started having leg pain really bad, and he started getting cramps in his legs, so he had to quit.
But I read that book with David Goggins. There ain't no fucking way I'm going to let my little shin splint stop me this time, man.
Listen,
So-
John and I, we were like massively walking around our neighborhood. Like we were walking a good like
Everybody
like,
knows us in the neighborhood.
8 miles a day, And I think it was like one evening walk. John's like, I can't do this. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to walk all the way back home. And I looked at him and I'm like, your ass is going to walk all the way back home or I will roll you.
I was
rest
getting
of the
ready to
way.
call an Uber.
I don't think
I'll
even-
figure it out
I
regardless.
don't even think Uber was going on because that was during the shutdown.
Yeah, I'll figure it out regardless. So I'm starting
You see me
75
rolling
hard.
him home?
I'm starting 75 hard on Tuesday, which is September the 1st. I'm doing it with a bunch of guys in a group. So there's like 10 of us there. And I'm doing it with like one of my mentors as well, which is Ryan Stuman. And it's pretty much a given that you can't quit when you're working with that motherfucker because I don't want to, you don't want to look like a bitch in front of him. And
No.
he's not going to look like a bitch in front of all the people that's in that group. And then there's a bunch of other people in the group that are not going to look like a bitch in front of anybody.
Yeah.
So I expect the same shit. If you want to do 75 hard with me, don't look like a bitch
That's right.
like I was
Don't.
when I tried to do it the first time.
I
At least I admit it, man.
I outdid John on that one because I kept going.
Well, we were doing Richard Simmons dancing with the oldies, man.
Oh, that's right, when it
that
was-
motherfucker makes me
yeah.
want to punch him in his face. I'm like, if you make me raise my leg one more time, Richard, I'm going to
one hell
come
of
through
a-
this fucking screen and I'm going to punch you in your fucking face.
That I'm telling you, Richard Simmons workouts like
Oh, you think it's easy in the beginning.
is not.
You're
You're
clapping
just like-
hands and you're moving side to side and you're moving side to side. Then next thing you know, you do 1,000 of these motherfuckers.
You're doing all
You
kinds
do
of
1,000
shit.
of these motherfuckers, you'll be like,
The music is good.
You'd be like,
Music's like super good.
You only be able to move your fucking arm the next day.
The music is good. I like it. I mean, I'm just like, damn, that fucker is in shape.
Oh, there was some other dude on there, some crackhead looking guy. And that fucking dude, man, we couldn't even do his shit.
No.
He looked like he just blew down a couple lines of fucking meth before he jumped on that exercise screen. And his eyes were like this. Like he was just like this. And he's like, all right, guys. He's like, come on, kick them legs up. And I'm like, oh shit, this motherfucker's on drugs. And I'm started going with him, and I'm like, this dude started doing electric slide shit, hitting the ground. I'm like, this dude done did some fucking drugs. I can't keep up with him.
I thought it was going to be a little bit easy, but it was. Well, are you sure it was meth?
He looked like, if you guys ever seen that, it's like, if you go to Google,
I know,
or go to YouTube,
go to YouTube.
Yeah, go to YouTube and look up the worst commercial. And it's so bad that it's been like watched like millions of times. And the dude looks like he's on crack. And he's got these giant big old fucking eyes going like this.
I love the song.
And he's singing I think he's singing like Florence Flea Market, just like a mini mall, just like a mini mall. We got tables and chairs. We got tables and chairs. We got a couch. We got a couch. Sit down. We got a couch.
It's awesome. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's so corny as hell, and it's just like, I love corny stuff. I do.
I think it's so bad it's good. You know what I mean?
It's so bad. It's like
it's almost like,
so
what are
good.
them one animals that are so ugly they're cute? Like a duck-billed platypus?
I don't think they're that ugly.
Or like a fucking, I don't know, there's certain animals that like are so ugly they're cute. That's like the commercial. It's so bad it's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the commercial is so fucking bad that it's good.
So one time, this is like a long time ago, like when John and I lived back in our little apartment in Piqua, and I wanted to get Jonathan, I was telling Jonathan the story a couple days ago, but I wanted to get him a little like hamster, like something really cute and fluffy. And we go to the pet store, and the one lady's there, she's like, listen, she's like, you guys do not want a little hamster because they're known to bite you and stuff like that. She's like, why don't you get him a pet rat? And I was like, I don't know about this, man. Get him a pet rat. And next thing you know, she convinced John, and John's like, come on, we can get this pet rat.
I mean, I had a pet rat in jail. I called him Mousy. We used to have like rat fights, like I would show up at another guy's cell, and me and Mousy would have a rat fight against like another rat, and Mousy had like this chain around his neck, and it had spikes on it, and had a little leash, and I'd show up and be like, yo, what's up, homie? Like, what's up? Be like, you ready for this? Everybody would gather around, they'd throw all their bets, and then Mousy was making bets, and then one day I lost Mousy to another rat named Spike, and Mousy died. And ever since then, I'd won a new rat. And I had my opportunity, and we got one. So and then the motherfucker started biting me.
Yeah. And when it was in its cage, we had to put like books on top of it because it was like trying to get out. And I'm like, man, we got to get rid of this
That thing got out, we'd all be done.
I know. So we took it down to the Piqua River, and we let the thing loose. We said, here you go.
I've never had a lot of luck with like rodents and snakes and shit like that. I'll be honest with you, like I don't fucking I would not want a pet snake.
No, thank you.
I mean, ever since I was a kid, me and this dude, we rode down to the creek one day, and a buddy of mine, and he's one of them, my buddy, he was probably like 3 or 4 years older than me. His brother was my age, but I'd kick it with his older brother. His name was Mike. And we would ride down to this creek and shit and like fuck around. We'd like build dams and this dude was like one of them. He was like one of them crocodile hunting motherfuckers. Like him and his brother had no fear. I mean, they were both kind of like they both grew up kind of poor and shit.
Yeah.
And I think their entertainment was like chasing down possums and fucking going after raccoons and like all kinds of dangerous shit like that. Yeah. So basically he was like a little crocodile fucking hunting motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like one of them ones that are just like, snake! And then you just see him like darting out after it, jumping over shit and fucking all, hunting this motherfucker down. Well, he finds this catches this snake. and pulls it out of the water. And I mean, the motherfucker's like 4 foot long. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck are we going to do with that? He's like, well, I'm going to take it home and, keep it or whatever as a pet or some shit. I'm like, okay.
That's snaky.
So we're riding home on the bike, and he's got the snake like all the way out with his arm, like holding it all the way out, Kind of like the Richard Simmons exercises. Like eventually his arm was about ready to give out on him. So he asked me, he's like, man, can you hold this snake for me? And, of course, like I'm 4 years younger than him. I don't want to be a bitch and tell him like, I'm scared shitless of this snake. So I'm just like, okay, man. So he's like, all right, so what we got to do is I'm going to put my hand out here, and you're going to take your hand over my hand, and then I'm going to let go, and you got to grab the snake real fast. I'm like, okay. So we go to do it, and as soon as he goes to put that motherfucker in my hand, like I get scared and just pull my hand away real fast. And then like 10 inches of the snake's head is fucking out, just swinging around and shit, trying to bite me and him. And being this crazy crocodile hunting motherfucker that he is, he takes his left hand and tries to snag this snake in mid fucking air. Well, as he's going in to grab the snake's neck, his hands comes in, and the motherfucker just bites his thumb.
Oh.
So of course he's like, ah!
Oh, it scared me.
Jumps off his bike, you know what I
Got me
mean?
there.
He has to run over the side of the road, and the snake, like he can't get the snake off his thumb because, snakes' teeth are like reverse, man. Once they get in there and fucking bite you, they sink in. Like, it ain't like you can fucking just pull the motherfucker off.
No.
Like, the teeth are like in at opposite direction. You know what I mean? And so he's trying to pull this fucking snake off of his thumb, can't get it off. He has to take his thumb in this snake and beat the snake on the side of the road until it dies. And then he can actually get his thumb out of the snake's mouth. That was my first fucking encounter with a snake. So guess what? I don't want a fucking snake.
No.
She likes trouser pythons, though.
No, I don't. I don't like them at all.
A trouser snake?
They try to attack me. I just grab it.
Don't even start with that shit. Don't even start with that shit.
No, that's because you were just like, I think we were talking about something. Oh, I was telling John how my shorts always go up my ass and stuff like that. I'm always getting.
Don't talk about this.
What? Wedgies or something? And then I said something, and John said how he was going to try and poke me or something weird. And I'm like, oh, no, you're not, because that's Exit Leslie.
He's going to bring that shit out. Look, our audience just thinned out over that one.
No, it did not. It's because of your snake story. Don't you better not do that. So I'm going to grab you by your balls as hard as I can. I'm going to yank on them.
All right, everybody. So anyhow, it is about time to end this tactical podcast.
To talk about some couple stuff.
I think we just did, didn't we? Your obsession with the trouser python and my obsession with the no-go. No-go-go.
No exit only.
All right, we're losing everybody.
I guess.
Yep.
Anything inspirational you'd like to say?
Yep. I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one. What do you got to say?
Remember, it's all about the motherfucking hustle.